Credo. About this time of Socrates' trial, a state galley had set out on an annual religious mission to the small Aegean island of Delos, sacred to Apollo, and while it was away, no execution was allowed to take place. So it was that Socrates was kept in prison for a month after the trial. The ship had now arrived at Cape Sunium in Attica and is thus expected at at the Piraeus Athens port momentarily. So Socrates' old and faithful friend Crito makes one last effort to persuade him to escape into exile, and all arrangements for this plan had been made. In it is this conversation between the two old friends that Plato professes to report in this dialogue. It is, as Crito plainly tells him, his last chance, but Socrates will not take it, and he gives his reason for his refusal. Whether this conversation took place at this particular time is not important, for there is every reason to believe that Socrates' friends tried to plan his escape and that he refused. Plato more than hint that the authorities would not have minded much as long as he left the country. Now the dialogue. Socrates. Why have you come so early, Crito? Or is it not still early? Crito. It certainly is. Socrates. How early? Crito. Early dawn. Socrates. I'm surprised that the warder was willing to listen to you. Crito. He is quite friendly to me by now, Socrates. I have been here often, and I have given him something. Socrates. Have you just come, or have you been here for some time? Crito. A fair time. Socrates. Then why did you not wake me right away, but sit there in silence? Crito. By Zeus, no, Socrates. I would not myself want to be in distress and awaken so long. I have been surprised to see you so peacefully asleep. It was on purpose that I did not wake you, so that you should spend your time most agreeable. Often in the past, throughout my life, I have considered the way you lived happily, and especially so now that you bear your presence misfortune so early, so easily and lightly. Socrates. It would not be fitting at my age to resent the fact that I must die now. Crito. Other men of your age are caught in such misfortune, but their age does not prevent them resenting their fate. Socrates. That is so. Why have you come so early? Crito. I bring bad news, Socrates, not for you apparently, but for me and all my friends. The news is bad and hard to bear. Indeed, I would count it amongst the hardest. Socrates. What is it? Or has the ship arrived from Delos, at the arrival of which I must die? Crito. It has not arrived yet, but it will, I believe, arrive today, according to a message some men brought from Sunium, where they left it. This makes it obvious that it will come today, and that your life must end tomorrow. Socrates. May it be for the best. If it so pleased the gods, so be it. However, I do not think it will arrive today. Crito. What indictment have you of this? What indication have you of this? Socrates. I will tell you. I must die the day after the ship arrives. Crito. That is what those in authority says. Socrates. Then I do not think it will arrive on this coming day, but on the next. I take to witness of this a dream I had a little earlier during this night. It looks as if it was the right time for you not to wake me. Credo. What was your dream? Socrates. I thought that a beautiful and comely woman dressed in white approached me. She called me and said, Socrates, may you arrive at fertile Fina on the third day? Credo. A strange dream, Socrates. Socrates, but it seems clear enough to me, Credo. Credo. Too clear it seems, my dear Socrates, but listen to me, even now, and be saved. If you die, it will not be a single misfortune for me. Not only will I be deprived of a friend, the like of whom I shall never find again, but many people who do not know you or me very well will think that I should have saved you if I were willing to spend money, but that I did not care to do so. Surely there can be no worse repetition than to be thought to value money more highly than one's friend. For the majority will not believe that you yourself were not willing to leave prison while we were eager for you to do so. Socrates. My good Credo, why should we care for so much for what the majority thinks? The most reasonable people, to whom one should pay more attention, will believe that things were done as they were done. Credo. You see, Socrates, that one must also pay attention to the opinion of the majority. Your present situation makes clear that the majority can inflict not the least but pretty well the greatest evils if one is slandered among them. Socrates. Would that the majority could inflict the greatest evils, for they would then be capable of the greatest goods, and that would be fine. But now they cannot do either. They cannot make a man either wise or foolish, but they inflict things haphazardly. Credo. That may be so, but tell me this, Socrates. Are you anticipating that I and your other friends would have trouble with the informers if you escape from here as having stolen you away, and that we should be compelled to lose all our properties or pay heavy fines and suffer other punishment beside? If you have any such fear, forget it. We would be justified in running this risk to save you, and worse, if necessary. Do follow my advice and do not act differently. Socrates. I do have these things in mind, Credo, and also many others. Credo. Have no such fear. It is not much money that people require to save you and get you out of here. Further, do you not see that those informers are cheap and that not much money would be needed to deal with them? My money is available and is, I think, sufficient. If because of your affection for me you feel you should not spend any of mine, there are those strangers here ready to spend money. One of them, Simmias the Theban, has brought enough for this very purpose. Cebes too, and good many others. So as I say, do not let this fear make you hesitate to save yourself, nor let what you said in court trouble you, that you would not know what to do with yourself if you left Athens, for you would be welcome in many places to which you might go. If you want to go on to Thessaly, I have friends there who will greatly appreciate you and keep you safe, so that no one in Thessaly Thessaly will harm you. Besides, Socrates, I do not think that what you are doing is just. To give up your life when you can save it, and to hasten your fate is what to hasten your fate as your enemy would hasten it, and indeed has listened in it their wish to destroy you. Moreover, I think you are betraying your sons by going away and leaving them, when you could bring them up and educate them. You thus show no concern for others, for what their fate may be. They will probably have the usual fate of orphans. Either one should not have children, or one should share with them to the end the toil of upbringing and education. You seem to me to choose the easiest path, whereas one should choose the path a good and courageous man would choose, particularly when one claims throughout one's life to care for virtue. I feel ashamed. One claimed throughout one's life to I feel ashamed on your behalf and on behalf of us, your friend, lest all of that has happened to you be thought due to cowards on our part. The fact that your trial came to court when it need not have done so, the handling of the trial itself, and now this absurd ending, which will be thought to have got beyond our control through some cowards and unmanly on our part, since we did not save you, or you save the slightest use, or you save yourself, when it was possible and could be done if we had been on the slightest use. Consider, Socrates, whether this is not only evil but shameful, both for you and for us. Take counsel with yourself, or rather the time for counsel is past and the decision should have been taken, and there is no further opportunity, for this whole business must be called tonight. If we delay now, then it no longer be possible. If it will be too late, let me persuade you on every count, Socrates, and do not act otherwise. Socrates, my dear Crito, your eagerness is worth much if it should have some right aim. If not, then the greater your neediness, the more difficult it is to deal with. We must therefore examine whether we should act in this way or not, as not only now but at all times I am the king, the kind of man that listens to nothing within me but the arguments that on reflection seems best to me. I cannot, now that this fate has come upon me, disregard the arguments I used. They seem to me much the same. I value and respect the same principles as before, and if you have the same principles before, and if you have no better arguments to bring up at this moment, be sure that I shall not agree with you, not even in the power of the majority were to frighten us with more buggery, as if we were children, with threats of incarcerations and executions and confiscation of property. How should we examine this matter most reasonable? Would it be taking up first your argument about the opinions of men, whether it is sound in every case that one should pay attention to some opinions but not to others, or was that well spoken before the necessary to die came upon me, but now it is clear that this was said in vain for the sake of argument, that it was in truth play the nonsense. I am eager to examine together with you, Credo, whether this argument will appear in any way different to me in my present circumstances, so whether it remains the same, whether we are to abandon it or believe it. It was said on every occasion by those who thought they were speaking sensibly, as I have just now been speaking, that one should greatly value some people's opinion but not others. Does that seem to you a sound statement? You, as far as a human being can tell, are exempt from the likelihood of dying tomorrow. So, the present misfortune is not likely to lead you astray. Consider then, do you not think it a sound statement that one must now value all the opinions of men, but some and not others, nor the opinion of all men, but those of some and not of others? What do you say? Is this not well said? Credo. It is. Socrates. One should value the good opinions and not the bad ones. Credo. Yes. Socrates. The main opinions are those of wise men. The bad ones are those of foolish men. Of course. Socrates. Come then. What of statements such as this? Should a man professionally engaged in physical training pay attention to the praise and blame and opinion of any man, or to those of one man only, mainly a doctor or trainer? Credo. To those of one only. Socrates. He should therefore fear and blame and welcome the praise of that one man, and not those of the many. Credo. Obviously. Socrates, we must then act and exercise, eat and drink in the way the one, the trainer, and the one who knows thinks right, not all the others. Credo. That is so. Socrates. Well said. And if he disobey the one, disregard his opinion and his praise, while valuing those of the many who have no knowledge, will he not suffer harm? Credo. Of course. Socrates. What is that harm? Where does it end? And what part of the man who disobeys does it affect? Credo. Only the harm to his body which it ruins. Socrates. Well said. So with other matters, not to emanate them all, and certainly with actions just and unjust, shameful and beautiful, good and bad, about which we are now deliberating. Should we follow the opinion of many and fear it, or that of the one, if there is one, who has knowledge of these things, and before whom we feel fear and shame more than before all the others? If we do not follow his directions, we shall harm and corrupt that part of ourselves that is improved by just one action and destroyed by unjust actions. Or is there nothing in this? Credo. I think there certainly is, Socrates. Socrates. Come now. If you ruin that which is improved by health and corrupt by disease, by not following the opinions of those who know? Is life worth living for us when that is ruined? And that is the body, is it not? Credo, yes. Socrates, and is life worth living with a body that is corrupt and in bad condition? Socrates, in no way. Sorry, Credo, in no way. Socrates, and in life, and is life worth living for us with that part of us corrupted that unjust action harms and just actions benefit? Or do we think that part of us, whether it is that is concerned with justice and injustice, is inferior to the body? Credo, not at all. Socrates, it is more valuable. Credo, much more. Socrates, we should not then think so much of what the majority will say about us, but what we will say, who understands justice and injustice, the one that is, and the truth itself. So that in the first place, you were wrong to believe that we should not care for the opinion of the others, of the many about what is just, beautiful, good, and their opposites. But someone might say, the many are able to put us to death. Credo, that too is obvious, Socrates, and someone might well say so. Socrates, and my admirable friend, that argument that we have gone through remains, I think, as before. Examine the following statement in turn as to whether it says the same or not. Then the most important thing is not life, but the good life. Credo, it stays the same. Socrates, and that the good life, the beautiful life, and the just are the same. Does that still holds or not? Credo, it does hold. Socrates, as we have agreed so far, we must examine next whether it is just for me to try to get you out of here when the Athenians have not acquitted me. If it seem to be just, we will try to do so. If it is not, we will abandon the idea for all those questions you have raised about money, reputation, the bringing up of children. Credo, those considerations in truth belongs to those people who easily put them in death and would bring them to life again in this, if they could, without thinking. I mean the majority of men. For us, however, since our agreement leads to this, the only valid consideration, as we were saying just now, that is what we should be acting rightly in giving money and gratitude to those who will lead me out of here, and ourselves helping with the escape, or whether it in truth or just to do wrong in doing all in truth, we shall do wrong in doing all this. If it appears that we shall be acting unjustly, then we have no need at all to take into account whether we shall have to die if we stay here and keep quiet, or suffer in another way rather than do wrong. Credo, I think you can put that beautifully, Socrates, but see what we should do. Socrates, let me examine the question together, my dear friend, and if you can make the objection while I am speaking, make it, and I will listen to you. But if you have no objection to make, Sorry. But if you have no objection to make, my dear Credo, then stop now from saying the same thing so often that I must leave here again the will against the will of the Athenians. I think it important to persuade you before I act and not at all I act and not to act against our wishes. So whether the start of our inquiry is adequately stated, and try to answer well, I ask you in the way you think best. Socrates. Sorry, Credo. I shall try. Socrates. Do we say that one must never in any age in any way do wrong willingly, or must one do wrong in one way and not in another? Is to do wrong never good or admirable, as we have agreed in the past, or have all these former agreements been washed out during the last few days? Have we at our age failed to notice for some time that in our serious discussion we were no different from children? Above all is the truth, such as the use to say it was, whether the majority agrees or not, and whether we must still suffer worse things than we do now, or will be treated more gently. That nonetheless, wrongdoing or injustice is in every way harmful to be wrongdoers. Do we say to the others? Do we say so or not? Credo, we do. Socrates. So one must never be wrong. Credo says certainly not. Socrates. Nor must one, when wronged, inflict wrong in return, as the majority believes, since one must, however, be wrong against your mother or father. It is much more to be used it against your country. What shall we say in reply? Credo, that we lead speakers to me or not? Credo, I think they do. Socrates. Reflect now, Socrates. The laws might say that if what we say is true, you are not treating us rightly by planning to do what you are planning. We have given your birth, nature, your education, and we have given you and all other citizens a share of all the good things we could do. Even so, the giving every Athenians the opportunity, once arrived at voting age and have observed the affairs of the city and us by the laws, we proclaim that if we do not place him, he can't take his position and go wherever he pleases. No one of our laws raises any obstacles or forbid him. If he is not satisfied with us or the city, if one of you wants to go and live in a colony, or wants to go anywhere else and keep his property, we say, however, that whoever of the reason remains when he sees how we conduct our trial and manage the city in our way, has in fact come to an argument with us to obey our instructions. We say that the one who disobeys does wrong in 3 ways. First, because in us he destroys his parents, also those who brought him up, and became, in spite of his arguments, he neither obeys us, nor if we do something wrong, does he try to persuade us to do better? Yet we only propose things. We do not issue savage commands to do whatever we order. We give 2 alternatives: either to persuade us or to do well what we say. He does neither. We do say that you too, Socrates, are open to those charges. If you do what you have in mind, you would be among one of the least but the most guilty of the Athenians. And if I should say, why so? They might well be right to upbraid me and say that I am among the Athenians who most definitely came to that agreement with them. They might well say, Socrates, we have convincing proof that we and the city were congenial to you. You would now have dealt here more consistently of all the Athenians if the city had not seen a festival. If the city had not been exceedingly pleasing to you, you would never left the city. You have never left the city even to see a festival, nor for any other reason except military services. You have never gone to stay in any other city as people do. You have had no desire You have never left the city even to see a festival, nor for any other reason except military service. You have never gone to stay in any other city as people do. You have had no desire to know not another city or other laws. You and our city satisfy you. So decisively did you choose us and agree to be citizens under us. Also, you have had children in this city, thus thinking then you at your so decisively did you choose us and agree to be a citizen under us. Also, you have had children in this city, thus showing that it was congenial to you. Then at your trial you could have assessed your penalty at exile if you wished, and you are now attempting to do against the city's wish that you could then have done with her consent. Then you prided yourself that you did not resent death, but you chose, as you said, death is preference to exile. Now, however, those words do not make you ashamed, and you pay no heed to us, the laws, as you plan to destroy us and you act like the meanest type of slave by trying to run away, contrary to your commitments and your agreement to live as a citizen under us. First, then, answer us on this very point, whether we speak the truth when we say that you agree not only in words but by your deeds to live in accordance with us. What are we to say to that credo? Must we not agree? Credo, we must, Socrates. Socrates, surely, they might say, you are breaking the commitments and agreements that you made with us without compulsion or deceit, and under no pressure of time for deliberation. You have had 70 years during which you could have gone away if you did not like us, and if you thought our agreements unjust. You did not choose to go to Sparta or to Crete, which you were always saying as well to governed are well governed, nor to any other city, Greek or foreign. You have been away from Athens less than the lame or the blind or other handicapped people. It is clear that the city has been outstandingly more congenial to you than to other Athenians, and so have we the laws for what city can please without laws. Will you then not now stick to our agreements? You will, Socrates, if we can persuade you and not make you yourself a laughingstock by leaving the city. For consider that good you will do yourself or your friends by breaking our agreement and committing such a wrong. It is pretty obvious that your friends will themselves be in danger of exile, disenfranchisement, and loss of property. As for yourself, if you go to one of the nearby cities, Thebes or Megara, both are well governed, you will arrive as an enemy to their government. All who care for their city will look on you with suspicion as a destroyer of the laws. You will also strengthen the conviction of the jury that they pass the right sentence on you. For anyone who destroys the laws could easily be taught to corrupt the young and the ignorant. Or will you avoid cities that are well governed and men who are civilized? If you do this, will your life be worth living? Will you have social intercourse with them and not be ashamed to talk to them? And what will you say? The same as you did here, that virtue and justice are men's most precious possessions along with lawful behavior and the laws. Do you not think that Socrates will appear to be an unseemingly kind of person? One must think so. Or will you leave those places and go to Credo's friend in Thessaly? There you will find the greatest license and disorder, and they may enjoy hearing from you how absurdly you escaped from prison in some disguise, in a leather jerkin or some other things in which escapees wrap themselves, thus altering your appearance. Will there be no one to say that you, likely to live but a short time more, were so greedy for life that you transgress and the most important laws? Possibly, Socrates. If you do not annoy anyone, but if you do, many disgraceful things will be said about you.